CNN projects that Donald Trump will win the Iowa caucuses. CNN can make this projection based on his overwhelming lead in our entrance poll of Iowa caucus goers and some initial votes that are coming in. The former president pulling off a huge early victory in his bid to return to the White House. Trump easily defeating his top opponents, Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley, who are now in a high-stakes fight for second place. Let's go to Aaron Burnett at the panel. Aaron, not a surprise, but still, this is the earliest I can remember ever calling such a thing.
And to all of the people standing behind me and all of the people in this room and so many great politicians and great dignitaries and friends, I just want to thank you all. This is a very special night. And this is the first, because the big night is going to be in November, when we take back our country, and truly, we do make our country great again. Thank you very much, everybody. Great honor. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very
much. You heard CNN. That was the earliest call I can ever remember. That's right, gang. Break out the smelling salts for rhinos and neocons. The Don is back, and he is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Hey, gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor. What a night, huh? What an absolutely amazing night. I've got all the stats and see how stunning, how eye-popping that victory was last night. It was a dominance like we've never seen before coming out of an Iowa caucus in just 30 minutes. 30 minutes after the polls closed, the AP declared President Donald J. Trump the winner of the Iowa caucus. Not since Mike Tyson in his prime have we seen a first-round knockout this dramatic and devastating. Just to put what happened last night in some historical perspective, anything above a 12-point win would have been historic. Any margin of victory over 12 points was history in the making. It was George W. Bush back in 2000 who won the Iowa caucus by a record-breaking 11 points. That was the highest margin for a win in a GOP Iowa caucus ever. Anything above that, anything above 12, would have been absolutely historic. Last night, President Trump tripled those results, beating the pack by an astonishing an unprecedented 30 points. It was the single largest victory margin in the history of the Iowa caucuses. Trump broke 51% of the total vote. Again, by contrast, the last time we had an open caucus back in 2016, it was actually Ted Cruz who won with 28% of the vote. Back then, Trump came in second with 24%. Rubio came in third at 23%. So it was a three-man race at the time. Needless to say, those days are long gone. As the smoke cleared from this shellacking, it turns out President Trump won every single county in Iowa, all 99. It was unprecedented. Gang, we've never seen political dominance like this ever. Again, just to put this in perspective, back in 2020, bumbling Biden, the idiot in the White House, came in fourth in Iowa. He was humiliated in the 2020 Iowa caucus. The man who supposedly got 80 million votes didn't even make the top three. By contrast, Trump won with every single voter demographic. Break down all the voters in terms of age, gender, race, religion, income, college versus no college, every single demographic, every single one voted for Trump. Trump beat out the competition in every single demographic, most particularly among evangelicals, which are about 1 out of every 3 voters in the Iowa caucus. Back in 2016, Ted Cruz won the evangelical vote by around 12 points or so. Trump came in at about 20% of the evangelical vote. Again, those days are gone. Last night, Trump clocked in with over 60% of the evangelical vote. I mean, look at these numbers, gang. Look at this. Trump doubled his results among women. He crushed it by 44 points among lower-income voters. He won the higher-income voters. He won by a margin of 51 points among non-college grads. He won by nearly 10 points with college grads. He won in rural areas. He won in suburban areas. He won overwhelmingly by 40-plus points in urban areas. These numbers across the board are absolutely eye-popping. And gang, That's where it just begins. Wait until you see this. But first, have you seen the latest report on politicians trading in 2023? They beat the market every single year. Some politicians have hit over 200% in investment returns. I wonder how they do that. Well, guess what? That's exactly what you are going to find out. Click on that link below right now and learn how you could stick it to the establishment by using their own corruption against them. Thanks to a little-known SEC database, guess what? We can have access to the very same trading secrets that these politicians are privy to. We get to see what stocks corporate CEOs are buying up in real time, and then we get to piggyback on their trades to gain the same advantage for ourselves that Pelosi and the crooks in D.C. have. My friend Ross Givens has been tracking insider trading for years now, and his recommendations have led to investment returns of over 200%. Some have hit as high as nearly 1,500%, and now it's your turn. Click on that link below right now and learn how you too can learn to trade like Pelosi. Click on that link and learn how to gain an insider advantage for yourself today.
As I've said since the beginning, there are two America First candidates in this race. And earlier tonight, I called Donald Trump to tell him that I congratulated him on his victory. And now going forward, he will have my full endorsement for the presidency. And I think we're going to do the right thing for this country.
That was, of course, Vivek Ramaswamy. He has officially dropped out after coming in and at a disappointing fourth in Iowa. He's giving his full endorsement of President Trump. And that's exactly what more and more pundits are calling on all the other candidates to do. Here's Newt Gingrich on Fox last night saying just that.
Quick points. One, this is the people's victory. Despite every media, despite every lawsuit, despite every effort to destroy Trump, the people of Iowa have stood up and said, no, he is our candidate. Number two, he's the nominee. Get over it. He is the nominee. He's going to win the nomination. The news media doesn't want to say that because they need to somehow hype. Please watch us while we go through this charade. There is no candidacy for number two. There is no number two. There are irrelevancies. You get to be the leading irrelevant or the second irrelevant or the third irrelevant, but nobody's going to be number two because he's going to dominate totally if you look at the country at large, where he's at like 62 or 64% approval.
So Gingrich went on to point out, look, Trump is not a candidate. Trump is the leader of a nationwide movement to take power back from the establishment. Trump is not a candidate. He is the leader of the MAGA movement, as Vivek recognized. And what that means is that if Trump is not a candidate, this is not a primary. It's really more of a coronation, or better, just a formal recognition that Donald J. Trump is the leader of the mass nationwide populist revolt against our incompetent and corrupt ruling class. There is no second place in all of this, precisely because there is no primary contest. Look, ever since Trump announced his candidacy over a year ago, back in November of 2022, Trump has never once lost his lead over the Republican pack. Not once. Not ever. Trump has never not been in the lead since he announced his candidacy over a year ago. All of the indictments, all of the lawfare has only served to solidify and grow Trump's support. The last vestige of hope for either DeSantis or Haley that somehow these trials are going to kick Trump out of the race are a pipe dream. It's not going to happen. They are just de facto Democrat operatives at this point. Both DeSantis and Haley have effectively aligned themselves with Nancy Pelosi, in that all three of them are actually rooting and cheerleading for this weaponized lawfare. But unfortunately for them, last night, Iowa proved that it was all for naught. And in our next video, we're going to sample the on-air meltdowns that the legacy media had last night as they realized, to their horror, that the Don is most certainly back. Bigger, better, and stronger than ever. As many of you know, we have unfortunately been completely and totally demonetized, which is putting our daily communication with one another at risk like never before. Now, we are actively working on getting this resolved, but as things stand, This channel has, without any warning, been totally and completely demonetized. And as Elon Musk said so powerfully last week, the whole point of these demonetization efforts is to deliberately try to make us patriots feel like we're all alone. They want to sever our relationship with each other and force on us a kind of digital solitary confinement so as to demoralize us and discourage us like never before. But to their horror, it's not working. Over this past week, you have carried this channel like never before. We've had more people than ever make the courageous decision to bypass big tech and join our Insiders Club. We have direct access to one another that can never be interrupted by big tech overlords. Over the last 7 days, we've seen literally thousands of you come to our rescue. And you've done it in two ways. You've signed up for our free newsletter and you've officially joined our Insiders Club. Those two acts alone are enough for us to collectively stand together and never, ever have our relationship severed. So I'm inviting the rest of you to do the same today, just by clicking on that link below and signing up for our newsletter and joining our Insiders Club. You are guaranteeing that there is nothing that big tech can do to get between us and make us feel like we're in a digital solitary confinement. It's as simple as clicking on the link below right now and opting into our free email newsletter. And once you do that, you can financially support us by joining our Insiders Club. Gang, from the bottom of my heart, I cannot thank you enough for your support during a time like this. You are my heroes, and it will be my mission to express my appreciation for every single one of you each and every week.